Well, good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. This morning I got a few things going. Starting out with the blue buggy here. I am going to be replacing all the wheel seals and the master cylinders. I've tried bleeding this thing several times, and it just seems like that old master cylinder, although it pumps, it's not pumping much pressure. So I don't know if there might be an internal leak within the master cylinder or not. And while I'm at replacing hydraulics, I just decided to do them all. Since I haven't been able to get a lot of pressure back to the wheel seals or wheel cylinders. I don't know if they're leaking or not, but if you take a look, I mean, these things, they've seen better days. So I'm just going to replace it all and get the brakes working on this thing. I posted a little video, it was a short, but of me driving this thing down the street, and the only brakes I had were that. So I didn't really rip it very fast because I didn't want to end up in somebody's yard. So but after today I'll have the brakes going, and yeah, this little thing, this is a one kick-ass little car. Obviously I need to have some upholstery work done. I don't know if you guys saw the video when we actually picked this one, the red one, and the sand buggy up from this property, but they had a goat. I'm sitting there and I'm looking, we're actually loading these cars up, and the goat was standing in that seat and eating this one, and I'm like, no! But you know, the darn thing, I tried to shoo it away and it wanted to headbutt me, so I let the goat do its thing, and now we need some upholstery work. So, you know, whatever. I did a little bit of work off camera, just fiddle-faddling around with this thing, and I took care of the gas tank. The gas tank had its inlet, the oh boy, what the hell you call that thing? Anyways, yeah, the filler neck. Had it over here. I cut it out of there, I cut a hole here and put it there so it will be centered on the hood there, like these buggies typically do. Now they have neat little chrome access panels, about 6 inches around, so that little guy will actually be about an inch below the level of the hood. Access panel, and then go on in there and take the cap off and put gas in it. So anyways, that's all coming together. Still got some wiring to do on this thing. I got the fuel system all cleaned out and working. Mounted the pump right here, and so that's why I was able to rip, because I had some gasoline going to it. The carburetor needs to be rebuilt, I believe, and some timing needs to be done. Just tune this thing up, because I mean it's not running great, but it runs okay. But I want it to be a little ripper here, so got to get the tuning all done. You see, it's gonna need new brake pads there, but I'm gonna get the hydraulics working today. Now, in order to get this running, I had to take some parts off of Rallybug, the distributor, coil, and pulled the starter motor out. This starter motor is actually out of Frankenbuggy, so I'm going to end up putting that in Rallybug till we get the adapter plate for Frankenbuggy's new Jetta motor. So and this ended up disappearing, the oil inlet, yeah, whatever you want to call this thing. Anyways, I don't know how that ended up vibrating off and ended up in the road somewhere when I was driving Rallybug. So got to put that on there to get Rallybug back in drivable condition. So here's all the new hydraulic stuff. The generator on there also isn't generating, so I got this one here. I'm going to put that one on there, and I got a seal for the transaxle, the input shaft there. So I'm going to end up, this is going to take me a couple days to get everything done on this and be able to rip it around, because I got to pull the motor back out, put that in the transaxle and put this on there, and then we can do the wiring. I did do a little bit of fabrication here. I made a dash that fits across the, because I don't have a speedometer in there yet, so it fits across the speedometer for all the switches. So that was another thing I was just playing around with and made that up. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna get busy getting these brakes working. That's the first thing I want to do. So I'm gonna mount up all this stuff, bleed them, and yeah, within an hour or two we'll have some brakes on this thing. So I'm gonna get busy and I'll bring you back in a bit. Yeah, guys, I think I made the right decision replacing that garbage. So there's the new master cylinder there, and got new wheel seals installed all the way around. And I'm gonna, that guy there, these are always tight right there. It'll work its way in there, but that little bit of paint on there might be keeping that from going all the way in there. So I'm gonna get to pumping the brakes, get some fluid through these lines, and let's see if this all worked. Yeah, got to be able to stop this thing. It's a ripper, but you know, you got to be able to stop. So I'll be back in a little bit. Well, guys, that's it for today. I took it for a little spin, and the brakes need to be bled a bit. They're not as tight as they need to be. And every time I put this tank in, it ends up in a different location. So that's where it's going to stay. So I'm going to make that hole a little bit bigger there. I still got the access lid that goes on there, and that's about 6 inches around. So I'm okay there. But yeah, got the brakes, all the new hydraulics in there, and they're pumping. They're just they're needing to be bled a little bit. No big deal. And then I went ahead, threw some parts back on Rallybug. Got the distributor coil in there, little oil tube there. But that again, I mean, this, I need a coil wire. It's strange, I got a set of wires from O'Reilly for the Blue Buggy, and it was lacking the coil wire. So instead of having to wait for them to bring another one in, I said, well, I'll just wait another day on that, which I'm gonna have to. But yeah, so Rallybug's about ready to run again. This guy's running, just needs some tuning and bleed the brakes. So I'm gonna put this little guy on there. It's really loud, so this little spark arrestor, it muffles the sound a little bit. But you can see it was a good decision to take all this garbage off there. Now this will be a nice safe buggy to drive around. So it's hot. I feel like it's an oven out here. So I'm done for the day. Start again in the morning, and we'll take both of these for a rip tomorrow. And yeah, it's a good day. Got things done. Anyways, we'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning, guys. It's another day, and today I'm gonna work on the performance of this motor, and hopefully figure out what that leak is and solve that problem. Now, I have the seal to put in on the input shaft of the transaxle there. I'm thinking some of that mess is because of it, because I mean, if you look at all the accumulation of oil over time, this thing has some leaks. But I woke up this morning thinking, you know, Robert, after doing that valve job on the heads, you haven't adjusted those valves yet. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Set those valves, set the timing, and play around with the carburetor a little bit and see if I can't get this motor to run a little better. So once I get the motor running, then I'll go get back on the brakes. All the hydraulics were replaced yesterday, but I do have to do some bleeding and get the air out of the lines, and then they'll be working good too. this here, I'm gonna have to adjust this hole right here also, because I'm gonna go buy some gas and dump it in there, and some fresh gas will help the performance of this thing also. So anyways, I'm gonna get to work, and hopefully by the end of the day this will be a little ripper that is able to stop. So I'll bring you back in a little bit. All right, guys, I got all those valves adjusted at 6 thousandths, which is what the internet says they need to be. They were like all of them. Some of them were too tight, some of them were too loose. So yeah, this valve train definitely needed to be adjusted, and I'm anticipating it to run a lot better. But I'm going to go ahead and well, I'm going to put the valve covers on, start it up right now, and see if it does run better. I think it will. And then I got to pull this motor out to put that seal in. This is the seal that goes between the motor and the transaxle, and I'm thinking that there's some oil leaking in there, so, and I don't want my clutch getting all saturated, so let's get that done too. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Well, guys, I got the motor pulled out, and very interesting what we got here. Now, that seal that I'm talking about replacing is down in there, and you can see, I mean, might be leaking a little bit, but this whole bell housing has been sprayed with oil all the way around. Here's the motor, and it is still leaking from behind the flywheel there. So what does that tell us? That tells us I'm pulling a flywheel and replacing the main seal in the back of the motor, because that's where all that oil is coming from. So that's what I'll be doing next. We'll see you in a bit. All right, guys, I got the flywheel off, and yeah, I got a nice little layer of oil behind here, which kind of tells me it's been leaking there. It's a nice smooth surface, no groove in the sealing surface, so I'm good there. So yeah, you can tell it has just been pouring oil out of that seal. So I'm going to stick a new one in there, and we'll be good to go. Be back in a bit. All right, guys, I got the motor back in after replacing the main engine seal and torquing everything down. The clutch plate had to be torqued, all that, but I got to tell you, after adjusting the valves, I started this thing up, and it's like whoop whoop, running great. I don't have the seats securely fastened to the car yet, and I was back there, and I revved it up, and I dropped the clutch. You can see I slid back about 6 inches, could barely reach the pedals after that. So I'm gonna spend a little time welding that seat in there, and then we'll go for a rip. We'll see how this thing runs. So anyways, I'm gonna get to some welding. Well, I'll be back. Well, that didn't sound good. I have no idea what just happened. Okay. What in the world is smoking there? Sure looks like we got a hole in the motor there. I think this thing threw a rod. Look at that. I guess I gotta walk back to the house to get a tow back. Yeah, that's a piece of the case. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go get my son, have him tow me home. Something went in this motor. I guess we're towing it now.
You recording?
Yeah. Oh, here's the chip. All right, go slower. Remember, there's no brakes. Yeah, I can't wait to take that motor apart. Thing I never did was I didn't take that bottom end apart. Maybe I should have. Put brand new top end, rebuilt heads. Threw too much power down into the motor, and something down there went. Nice clean brake. I have no idea what that is. Thanks for the ride, Bobby. That sure put a nice hole in it. Like I said, I strengthened the top end, new cylinders and pistons, and rebuilt the heads and made that all good and strong, and didn't do anything with the bottom end, and apparently it just couldn't handle it. Anyways, I'll get this motor taken apart and we'll see what really happened. Well, guys, I got the motor pulled out here. Let's apparently there's another piece there, so let's get that taken out and let me get a light here. See if we can't see what's going on there. Look at that. That sure looks like the end of a rod. That rod broke. And that is the end of a rod. There's no pulling that out because that's still connected to the piston there. So hopefully there's no damage to the cylinders or the head. But boy, was that ever just a clean break in that rod. So we can get some light on that. Yeah, that piston seems to be all the way down, which is a good thing. The rest of the motor still turns, so yeah. Somehow that rod just broke. Anyways, I'm gonna take it apart tomorrow. I wanna dig into there to just see what happened. Hopefully it didn't do any damage other than to the rod in the case. We'll see what that crank looks like. I don't know why. Well, until I dig into it, I don't know. I won't know what happened. So, but yeah, even when I was out there after it broke, I hit the starter and the motor turned. So I think everything else is probably okay. But why that rod broke, I will not know until I tear into it. If that one bearing was starved for oil and it just seized up, I'll be able to tell by looking at the crank. So anyways, that's it for the day. Tomorrow we'll tear that motor apart, see what happened. But for now, everyone have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.